police station in Chapel Hill, North Carolina received a call at 11 a.m. from a hysterical girl who called in for help after she discovered that her apartment was turned upside down. There was blood on the walls and floor of the apartment. Her friend Faith Hedgepeth, who was sharing an apartment with her, was unconscious. When police arrived at the scene, they discovered they were not dealing with an unconscious girl, but a complex case of a brutal killing. But who would be so barbaric enough to kill her in such a brutal way? And more importantly, why did they kill her? Let's discuss the mysterious murder and try to uncover the hidden truth. Faith Hedgepeth was born on September 26, 1992, in Warren County. Her parents got divorced a year after her birth, and her mother was awarded full custody of Faith. Her bond with her mother was very strong. Her relationship with her father was also profound and enduring. Despite her father moving to a different town, they remained close and always kept in touch. They would talk on the phone regularly and make sure to visit each other as often as possible. Her family was always there for her, providing support and encouragement. Faith was an excellent student in high school. She got the Gates Millennium Scholarship and did exceptionally well in her studies. She studied at the Chapel Hill campus of the University of North Carolina. Her father also attended UNC-CH, but dropped out. She wanted to be the first in her family to receive a college degree. After graduation, she wanted to become either a pediatrician or a teacher. She just wanted to help the local community, but she was unaware that she would never get the chance to make her dreams a reality. A tragedy would strike her in her own apartment. Faith was known for her kind and caring nature. She cherished children and did good deeds. She was the loveliest lady who was always smiling. Faith was a social butterfly and had many different friends. She always went out of her way to help anyone in need, whether they were close friends or not. In her spare time between her studies, Faith worked diligently as a waitress in Durham County. She shared an apartment at Hawthorne on the second floor with her friend Karina Rosario and Rosario's boyfriend Eric Jones. Rosario had an on and off relationship with Jones, and eventually she ended it, and he moved out. But Jones didn't stop there. Instead, he got himself a room in the same complex so he could be close to girls. In July of 2012, he made 2 attempts to enter the apartment, which prompted Rosario to change the locks. However, Jones continued to harass the girls, until the 2 girls had finally had enough. Faith took Rosario to court to obtain a protective order requiring Jones to stay away from the apartment. Jones disliked Faith's influence over his ex-girlfriend, and in a phone call with Faith, Jones reportedly threatened to kill her if he couldn't get back together with Rosario. Faith Hedgepeth was busy with the usual start-of-term activities. She attended an Alpha Pi Omega sorority recruitment event on September 6, 2012, at about 6 p.m. Afterwards, she went to the University of North Carolina Davis Library to join her friend Karina. She left the library for half an hour, then returned and rejoined Rosario. Then they both left the library together and headed back to their apartment. At 11:30 p.m., they returned to their apartment. After a 30-minute break, they set out once more, this time to the Thrill nightclub located in the bustling downtown area of Chapel Hill. At 12:40 a.m., they both arrived at the Thrill. The girls started enjoying their night dancing around. But just an hour and a half into the party, Rosario felt sick and she wanted to go back home. She and Hedgepeth left the club at 2:06 a.m. They were captured on the security camera, and this was the last image of her presence anywhere before the murder. At about 3 a.m., Hedgepeth and Rosario arrived at the apartment. A neighbor who later contacted police reported hearing loud noises like thumps coming from the house at 3 a.m. Around 4 a.m., Rosario left the apartment with another friend. She informed the authorities that Faith was sleeping on her bed then. She said that she didn't lock the apartment door. The next day, on September 7th, after spending a night with a friend, she attempted to call Faith, but Faith didn't answer. Rosario then contacted another friend, Marisol Rangel, who came and drove her back to her apartment. After they returned to the apartment around 11 a.m., they called out Faith's name but received no response. Assuming she might have overslept and missed her classes, they decided to check on her in her room. But when they entered, they were horrified by the scene before them. The room was in a disastrous condition. Everything was out of place. Blood was smeared on the walls and on the floor, and in the center of the room lay Faith's lifeless body. She was completely naked below the waist. The sight was so shocking and disturbing that it left them completely stunned. They called 911 right away and informed the police. Rosario reported to the officer that when she arrived home, she discovered her roommate motionless and that there was blood everywhere. She reported that Faith was cold to the touch. When the police came to the crime scene, they discovered Hedgepeth's upper body hanging over the edge of the bed, face up, and only wearing a black t-shirt that had been pulled up over her head. The area where her head had been hung was now covered in blood. The police launched an inquiry right away, but in contrast to the Chapel Hill Police's routine, the investigation's details were first kept hidden from the public. All records were sealed by a court order. Semen from the site was taken by police, who used it to create a DNA profile. This DNA profile matched the male DNA discovered elsewhere in the residence. In September 2014, the public was given access to Faith's autopsy report. It noted bruises and wounds on her arms and legs. Her fingernails had blood under them as well. Her head suffered the most severe damage. Her death was caused by blunt force trauma to the head. Bits of tissue and DNA were found on a Bacardi Peach rum bottle, which led police to believe that it had been the murder weapon. A bloody tampon was also found close to Faith's body. Additionally, police discovered a white fast food bag from the Time Out restaurant on which someone had scribbled, "I'm not stupid, bitch," and "jealous." Strangely, there was no blood on the bag. The police examined Faith's laptop and call history. Around 3 a.m, someone accessed her Facebook page. At 3:40, she texted her friend Brandon Edwards, telling him Karina needed him to come to their apartment, but he replied the next day by inquiring who had sent the text. According to Karina's phone records, she called Brandon Edwards at the same time that Faith's phone sent a text message. When Brandon didn't pick up the phone, Karina dialed Jordan McCrary, a UNC basketball player. At around 4:27 a.m., Jordan arrived at the apartment, and Karina left with him. While leaving her flat, Karina didn't lock the door. Police also spoke with the neighbor, who had heard noises coming from the apartment at 3 a.m. She told authorities that she heard 3 sounds like a thump. She said they sounded like it could have been a heavy book bag being dropped. It could have been an end table being turned over. They even found a voicemail that was sent from Faith's phone. It was sent to a friend of hers, but it wasn't clear. It seemed more like a pocket dial. Although it was difficult to understand, several people thought it might have been captured during the assault. According to Faith's mother, if you listen closely, you can hear Faith crying. Police, however, do not think the pocket dial was recorded during the assault because it appeared to have been made earlier in the evening when Faith was still at the Thrill Bar. Investigators led a rigorous and complicated investigation. According to Josh Stein, the Attorney General of North Carolina, thousands of interviews were performed and 229 DNA samples were compared to DNA collected from the crime scene. According to DNA analysts, the murderer was of Latin American ancestry, possibly with an olive complexion and dark eyes. On September 23, 2016, Chapel Hill police released a picture of the suspect who left the semen. The image was based on a composite of his DNA profile. According to the released picture, the perpetrator was a Latino or Native American man. However, the picture did not anticipate his height or weight. Without any clues in the case, authorities turned to ancestry technology in an attempt to find any persons who might have been connected to the DNA left at the crime scene. Finally, after 9 long years, investigators were led to Miguel Enrique Salguero Oliva-Rees. When Faith passed away, Miguel was only 19 years old. According to a friend of his mother, he had been living in America for about 2 years at that time and had limited knowledge of the English language. On September 16, 2021, police arrested Miguel, then a 28-year-old Guatemalan immigrant. At the time of his arrest, he was finishing up some drywall and painting. It was just another routine drunk driving arrest in Wake County, but little did anyone know it would lead to a shocking twist in the murder case. Miguel, the man arrested for driving under the influence of drugs, was soon to be identified as the prime suspect in a brutal murder case. DNA samples and a palm print found at the crime scene matched him perfectly, linking him to the heinous crime. As the court records were made public in January 2022, the truth about Miguel was finally revealed. He was a cold-blooded killer who had been on the run. And with that, he was charged with first-degree murder in 2021, bringing to a shocking end the case that had kept the community on edge for so long. A tragic incident occurred in 2012. Faith Hedgepeth was beaten to death in her apartment. Her case went unsolved for 9 years, until finally Miguel was taken into custody for first-degree murder after 9 years and 9 days of Faith Hedgepeth's murder. Faith's mother was thrown into a wretched condition because of her daughter's savage death, but when an arrest was finally made, she was pleased and relaxed. She said in a statement to the media that she is relieved knowing that someone had been arrested in this case. She expressed her gratitude to God, the police, and everyone involved in the investigation. Thank you for watching True Crime Prime. Kindly subscribe to our channel and remember to like, share, and comment.